As I said, my name is Steve Bacon, and today I want to talk to you about incorporating current events into your teaching to help engage your students. So if we think about our own personal experience, the more we're interested in a subject, the more we're going to pay attention and listen, and the more we're going to learn. So I want to start out by throwing out some numbers. In my research, I found this study by Haas and Laughlin, where they surveyed 176 teachers at all grade levels, like elementary, middle school, and high school. And of those 176 teachers, 100% of them said that it's important to incorporate current events into your teaching. And of those same teachers, 67% said that their students were more interested in learning about current events, excuse me, than anything else that they taught. So I want to talk right now about a little bit about my own personal experience with current events and why I picked this topic. If you've read any of my readings on my reading notes, you'll know that I worked in an elementary school for 6 years as a paraprofessional, and actually we call them PSAs in Hastings. So in those 6 years, I traveled throughout grades 1 through 4 and probably spent time in about 10 to 12 different teachers' classrooms. So anyway, about 3 years ago, I ended up in Mrs. Miller's 4th grade class, and she was a good teacher and everything. It was kind of dry. She didn't use any humor like Derek talked about in his best teaching practice. And there's like a lot of notes and lectures and all that. So about the 3rd day of school, she's lecturing, and all of a sudden she just pops out this video. And all the kids were like totally shocked and surprised, and so was I. I had traveled through those grades and had never seen it done before. And so when the video was done, she kind of said, "So why do you think I showed you guys this?" And I don't think anybody raised their hand. They're all kind of like still in shock. And so she kind of walked them through it and said, "You know, this is what's going on today. How do you think this relates to what I was just talking about?" And so she kept doing this day after day, sometimes once a day, sometimes twice, sometimes 3 times. And as the year went on, the kids got more and more interested. They raised their hands, they talked about it, and they could make this correlation between the current events and what she was talking about. So anyway, she engaged her students. Another interesting point of this is, in the fall of that year, we went to take our NWA test. Hey, you guys all agree with that? Did you guys all do that in school? Like the math testing? Excuse me, I've got extreme dry mouth, I can't talk. Anyway, our class scored the highest in the whole school, which was really amazing. And the principal even sent out an email about it. One interesting fact about it is in Hastings in 4th grade, they start clustering kids. So like the top testers are put into one classroom. Well, we did not have a cluster group. So we had like the average level kids, plus we had 5 kids that were in special ed, which were my kids. So the fact that we got the highest in the school was a big thing. Another thing based on that was that every child's score increased pretty dramatically from their spring scores. So if you think about it, there's not much teaching between the spring and the fall testing. So usually the scores are kind of the same. Some even go down because kids have a hard time retaining the information over summer. So the fact that they went up, every single student did, and we got the highest in the class, showed not only did she engage her students, but she created kind of this higher critical thinking. When I thought about what did she do different from the rest of the teachers, that's what I came up with. I couldn't think of anything else that she did differently other than incorporating current events. In another study that I read about, it's called Current Events is Empowering Literacy for English and Social Studies Teachers by Christine Pescatori. She did the same thing. She incorporated newspapers in her curriculum, and she was shocked by how much her kids just really got into it. She said she had to kick them out of class many days because they wanted to stay around and keep discussing things. And then at the end of the year, they all scored really well on their exit tests, which she much higher than she was expecting. So anyway, I'm going to tell one quote by her. She said, "Using current events can spark students' interest, develop critical thinkers, and provide students with the tools to be successful on their exit exams." So I really encourage you all to try to incorporate current events. It can be tricky. There's that much time in the school day. Curriculums are pretty rigorous, I should say. But I hope that you'll maybe collaborate with other teachers, find out if they incorporate it, how they incorporate it, where they fit it in, and so forth. So if you get creative, you can make it work. I love the way my teacher did it, how she just did a little bit every day, took a couple of minutes, but find your own way. So if you do that, I think you're going to engage your students, you're going to create higher critical thinking, and I also think you're going to promote lifelong learning. Students that are engaged and know about current events at a young age will hopefully keep doing that throughout their life. So to me, that's what education is about, and that's why I want to be a teacher.